What I'm about to tell you will make every financial advisor on Wall Street hate me, but it could save you from the biggest financial mistake of your life. I'm Charlie Munger, partner to Warren Buffett for over 50 years. I've spent nearly a century studying markets, human behavior, and wealth creation. I've built a $2.5 billion fortune not by following the crowd, but by seeing what others refuse to see. And right now, there are 3 investments everyone thinks are safe, but they're actually deadly traps. I need to warn you. If you observe carefully the historical patterns, you'll realize that 2026 will not be an ordinary year for investors. We're crossing through a unique moment in modern economic history, a period where traditional investment rules are being rewritten by the force of cycles that few truly understand. This is not a prediction, it's a logical consequence of forces already in motion. During more than 4 decades studying markets, crises, and recoveries, I've learned that history is an excellent teacher, and it's showing us clear signs that certain asset classes will become deadly traps for wealth in the coming years. Many investors are making the same mistakes I saw destroy fortunes in 1987, 2000, and 2008. They're investing based on what worked yesterday, not on what will work tomorrow. The difference is that this time the consequences may be more severe. We're dealing with unprecedented debt levels, deep structural changes in the global economy, and a power transition that happens only once per century. If you understand the incentives, you understand the behavior, and current incentives are creating bubbles in places where few would imagine. Today, I'll show you exactly where these bubbles are forming and why avoiding them may be the most important decision of your financial life. History teaches us that all great wealth transfers follow predictable patterns. In 1929, investors believed that this time is different. Stocks rose to astronomical levels based on pure speculation, not economic fundamentals. The result was a decade of depression. In 1999, the same phrase echoed through Wall Street corridors. The internet changed everything. Old rules don't apply. We're in a new economy. We know how that ended. In 2007, the mantra was, real estate never falls. It's a safe investment. Everyone needs a place to live. Once again, collective arrogance destroyed fortunes. The pattern is always the same: euphoria, denial of reality, overconfidence in overvalued assets, and finally, the painful awakening. We're seeing the same signs today, but on a much larger scale. The fundamental difference is that now we're not dealing only with localized bubbles. We're facing simultaneous bubbles in multiple asset classes, fed by a decade of experimental monetary policies. Since 2008, central banks have injected more than $20 trillion into the global economy. That money didn't disappear. It inflated asset prices to levels that defy any economic logic. If you observe the data, you'll see we're living through the largest monetary experiment in human history. And like all experiments, eventually we get to see the results. To understand why certain asset classes will become toxic in 2026, we first need to comprehend the basic principles that govern all investments. Every investment is fundamentally a trade between risk and return. When prices rise too much, future returns diminish and risk increases proportionally. It's a physical law of financial markets. There's no free lunch. Today, we see assets offering low returns with extremely high risks, the opposite of what intelligent investors seek. The economy works in cycles: expansion, peak, contraction, trough, and expansion again. These cycles are as inevitable as the seasons. There are short-term cycles lasting about 7 years and long-term cycles extending 50 to 100 years. Currently, we're at the end of a great long-term cycle. This means many of the trends we've seen over the past 40 years are about to reverse.
When things go well, leverage multiplies gains. When things go bad, it multiplies losses. Today, we have record levels of leverage in virtually every sector of the economy. Companies, governments, and individuals are more indebted than ever in history. This means when the cycle turns, and it always turns, losses will be dramatically amplified. True diversification isn't owning 50 different stocks, it's owning assets that respond differently to the same economic forces. Most investors think they're diversified, but in reality, their assets are all positively correlated with the same variables: economic growth, low inflation, and expansive monetary policies. When these variables change, and they will change, all these assets will fall together.
Based on these fundamental principles and analysis of current cycles, there are three asset classes that represent deadly traps for investors in 2026. The first trap is technology stocks that don't generate real profit, but are valued based on future potential. If you analyze the technology companies that exploded over the past 5 years, you'll discover something disturbing. Many of them burn money instead of generating it. They survive because money is cheap, and investors are willing to bet on stories about the future instead of present results. Imagine a restaurant that loses money on every meal sold, but convinces investors that in the future it will be the world's largest gastronomic empire. While money is cheap, this fantasy can continue, but when money becomes expensive, reality appears. This is exactly what's happening with hundreds of technology companies today. The fundamental problem is that these companies were built for a world of low interest rates and abundant capital. In 2026, that world will no longer exist. When interest rates rise and capital becomes scarce, these companies will discover they don't have sustainable business models. They were optimized for growth, not profitability. History shows us that companies that can't generate money eventually cease to exist, no matter how revolutionary the technology. Since 2010, investors have been forced to seek returns in increasingly risky assets due to central banks' low interest rate policies. This created a massive price distortion. Companies that should be worth zero became worth billions. In 2026, when this distortion corrects itself, investors exposed to these companies will see their fortunes evaporate overnight. The second trap is real estate in markets that experienced unsustainable growth over recent years. If you look at real estate prices in cities like San Francisco, Seattle, Miami, or Austin, you'll see increases that make no economic sense. In many of these markets, prices tripled in a decade. This happened not because real demand increased proportionately, but because cheap money made it possible to pay any price. Imagine an auction where all participants receive money borrowed for free to bid. Prices rise to absurd levels because nobody is using their own money. This is exactly what happened in the American real estate market. Low interest rates made financing cheap. People who couldn't afford to buy a house qualified for enormous loans. Institutional investors entered the market, competing directly with ordinary families. Private equity firms bought hundreds of thousands of homes, turning them into rental properties. This created artificial demand that inflated prices far beyond what the real economy could sustain. First, interest rates have already begun to rise and will continue rising. This makes financing more expensive and reduces the number of qualified buyers. Second, many homeowners who bought in recent years did so with variable rate financing. When these rates adjust, millions of people will discover they no longer afford their mortgages. Third, an entire generation of investors has never seen a real drop in the real estate market. They believe real estate always goes up. This blind confidence will make them easy victims when the correction begins. History is clear. When an asset class is considered always safe, it's exactly when it becomes most dangerous.
The third, and perhaps most counterintuitive trap, is long-term bonds, especially government bonds. For decades, bonds were considered the safe part of any portfolio, but safety is relative to the economic environment. In a world of growing inflation, long-term bonds become one of the worst possible asset classes. Imagine you lend money to someone for 30 years at 3% interest. If average inflation is 5% per year, you're literally paying to lend your money. This is exactly what's happening with investors buying government bonds today. After a decade of extremely expansive monetary policies, inflation is back to stay. It's not a temporary phenomenon. Governments around the world have accumulated debts impossible to pay with honest money. The only way to reduce these debts is through inflation. This means the purchasing power of currency will continue diminishing, making fixed-rate bonds a losing investment by definition. Many investors still think as if we were in the 1980s or 1990s, when inflation was under control and bonds offered positive real returns. Others are forced by regulations to maintain minimum percentages in bonds, regardless of investment attractiveness. Pension funds, insurance companies, and banks have mandates that force them to buy bonds even when it's obvious they're a bad investment. This artificially forced demand keeps prices high, but doesn't change the underlying economic reality. In 2026, when inflation becomes persistently high and central banks are forced to raise rates dramatically, whoever is holding long-term bonds will see devastating losses. If you're an American between 40 and 80 years old, these trends will directly affect your financial security and retirement plans. Many retirement plans are structured assuming 7 to 8% annual returns on stocks and 3 to 4% on bonds. These numbers were realistic over the past 40 years, but won't be over the next 10. If your plan assumes these returns and you're exposed to the asset classes I mentioned, you'll need to work more years than planned or accept a much lower standard of living in retirement. For those already retired, the situation is even critical. You don't have time to recover from significant losses. If a substantial part of your wealth is in overvalued real estate or long-term bonds, you may see decades of savings disappear in a few years. If you bought your house in the past 5 years in an overheated market, you may discover you owe more than the house is worth. This will drastically limit your financial mobility and may force you to continue paying for something that became a liability instead of an asset. Many Americans invest through index funds, thinking they're safe through diversification. But the main indices have enormous concentrations exactly in the types of assets that will become problematic: overvalued technology and highly leveraged companies. When these sectors correct, index funds will fall together, taking millions of unsuspecting investors with them. Consider a 55-year-old couple with $800,000 in retirement savings. If 60% is in stocks, mainly technology through index funds, 30% in bonds, and they own a house bought for $600,000 in 2021, in a correction scenario, stocks could fall 50%, bonds 30%, and the house 40%. Their net worth would drop from approximately $1.4 million to less than $700,000. This isn't alarmist speculation, it's mathematics based on historical corrections when similar bubbles burst.
Based on principles that govern all economic cycles, there are specific strategies to protect and even increase your wealth during the turbulent period approaching. True diversification means owning assets that benefit from different economic environments. In an inflationary environment, you need assets that maintain or increase value when money loses purchasing power. Essential commodities like energy, precious metals, and agricultural products historically prosper during inflation. These aren't speculations about the future, they're basic necessities that will always have demand. Companies that own natural resources or have the capacity to pass cost increases to consumers, specifically energy companies, well-regulated utilities, and essential consumer goods companies with brand power. Real estate in specific locations that offer real value, not speculative properties, but those that generate true income in markets with solid fundamentals. Not all markets are equal.
While some regions will face severe corrections, others will offer opportunities. Look for areas where prices still reflect real economic value, not speculation. Generally, these are smaller markets that didn't experience the speculative boom of large cities, regions with real economic diversification, not dependent on a single industry or employer. Essential infrastructure will be necessary regardless of economic conditions: energy, transportation, and basic telecommunications. Companies that solve real problems with proven business models, especially those that have generated money consistently for years. The exact timing of when these corrections will begin is less important than being correctly positioned when they happen. Reserve a significant portion of your wealth in cash or equivalents. Yes, inflation erodes value, but losing 5% per year to inflation is better than losing 50% in a correction. When corrections arrive, you'll have capital to buy quality assets at discounted prices. Don't feel pressure to be fully invested all the time. In high-risk environments, staying out is often the smartest decision. Wait for obvious opportunities where risk is low and potential return is high. Accept that we're entering a period of persistent inflation and position yourself accordingly. If you have debts, try to convert them to fixed rates while still possible. When inflation accelerates, central banks will be forced to raise rates dramatically. A portion of your wealth should be in things that have intrinsic value, independent of currency. This includes some precious metals, essential commodities, and stakes in companies that own real resources. The financial world is changing rapidly. Strategies that worked for decades may become obsolete. Don't limit your knowledge only to stocks and bonds. Understand how commodities, currencies, different types of real estate, and inflation protection instruments work. Patterns repeat, but never exactly the same way. The more you understand about past cycles, the better prepared you'll be to navigate future ones.